Today's episode is presented by A24's highly anticipated next horror event, Backrooms. A furniture store owner vanishes after discovering a mysterious doorway in his basement that leads to an endless network of interconnected rooms. From Kane Parsons, the preeminent creator of the Backrooms YouTube series, this tense psychological horror thriller explores the suffocating dread of liminal spaces and the unknown lurking behind them. Don't miss Backrooms, only in theaters May 29th. Get tickets now.
One bit of trivia you may not know about me is how sensitive my nose is. I can smell everything. I get sick from smells. Perfume that's too strong, candles that are too strong, and I am very sensitive to strong odors, especially bad ones, and that includes my darling cat Clara's litter box. So I'll do anything I can to keep the litter smells at a 0. And since I started feeding her Smalls, her poop has been healthier, smaller, and a lot less smelly. And that's because Smalls is fresh, human-grade cat food that is made from high-quality meat, not cheap fillers. You see, meat is easy for Clara to digest, for all cats to digest, which means her little body absorbs more nutrients and healthier poops come out. In contrast, the stuff I used to feed my cat was made with grains and artificial ingredients that were hard on her little body. And her poop, her nasty poop, was proof of that. Don't tell her I said that though, okay? And Smalls isn't just good for digestion. 88% of cat parents say that after feeding their cat Smalls, their cat is softer and shinier and has more energy to play and overall just seems healthier because it's really good for cats. If you want to invest in your cat's health, Smalls is giving you 60% off your first order, plus free shipping and free treats for life when you go to smalls.com/scare. If your cat doesn't like it, Smalls will refund 100% of your order, but trust me, your cat is gonna love the taste of Smalls, and you'll love that your house no longer smells like a litter box all the time. That's 60% off plus free shipping and free treats for life when you go to smalls.com/scare. Welcome to Scare You to Sleep. I'm your host, Shelby Novak, and I'm here to read you a couple of bedtime stories. Tonight's episode has a bit of a theme. I hope you're not out camping right now because we're about to hear some very scary tales set in the woods. Our first story of the evening comes to us from author Forest Dellorak. This is Treeline. It all happened last night. I left them in the woods, just for the afternoon. They had been acting completely entitled, needing me for everything, spoiled rotten, those kids were. My wife tried to talk some sense into me, rattling on about how the woods weren't safe. Of course they weren't safe, I thought. That's the whole point. Let the little wretches fend for themselves for a few hours and see how much they respect and appreciate their parents' hard work for them. It's always been for them. Every damn second of our lives, since they were born. I gave them a hatchet, some clothing, and a bag. Told them they needed to learn how things work around here. I wasn't bad for doing that. Kids need to learn somehow. I just was a little angry at the time. That's all. But I was doing my job as their father. I remember their eyes then. My son's welling up with tears and my daughter's staring daggers at me. She kept looking at her mother, like she'd dare to do anything with me standing between them. "Go past the tree line. Don't come back till sunset," I said to them, pointing to the forest. I said, "Maybe catch something and eat it. Try to make your father proud for once." I knew that was unlikely. They'll come back starving, whining, and eat whatever their mother and I make for them with zero complaint, I thought. We both watched as the little ones shuffled into the trees. My wife just glared at me before going back inside. She sat at the window in the kitchen facing the woods, not talking to me the whole damn day. I told her if they don't come back, they don't deserve to come back. Or something like that. When the sun started going down, and there was no sign of them, I knew we should have gone out looking for them. But I was stubborn. I thought they'd show up any minute. Then the sun went down. We both went to stand outside, watching the tree line for the two of them. The fireflies came up for the last few minutes of light, and I swear a few times I thought I could hear the sound of them shuffling around past the trees. My mind expecting to see either of them at the same moment, but I didn't. Eventually, after 30 minutes of my wife and I just standing there, staring into the trees, I started to wonder if I was even hearing anything or just imagining it. The fireflies disappeared one by one, and then we were in almost complete pitch black, except for the moon glow. We couldn't hear anything anymore, not even the wind. So when my wife finally spoke, it made me almost jump out of my skin. She said, "Look, I can see them," and pointed into the darkness. I strained my eyes to see, but only saw barely discernible trees. I asked her, "Where? Are they coming?" Her smile and her excited demeanor made me think they were. She didn't answer me. She just shouted for them and waved. I kept looking hard for any movement. I still didn't hear anything. My eyes finally adjusted enough to see them. 2 little pale spots where their faces were, between the trees. I couldn't help but chuckle at the fact that they came back unscathed. I turned to my wife and smiled, about to brag about how I was right and all that. But she slowly put her hand down and frowned. "Why aren't they coming?" she asked. I stopped laughing and looked back, and sure enough, their little faces in the distance hadn't gotten any closer. I felt a prickle in my fingertips and felt my anger coming back up. "Do they think they're being clever?" I said to her. She called out to them again. She took a step forward, and then I started marching ahead, ready to grab them by their ears and drag them back for scaring us like that. As I got closer, the anger in my chest drained away suddenly, and my body stopped itself from moving without me thinking. I still couldn't see them very well, just the lighter spots, their faces against the blackness of the night, but I stopped. I tried to tell them to get over here, but my throat closed before I could even finish the first word. My body knew something I didn't. I heard my wife call to me asking what was wrong, but I didn't even turn to look at her. I was was just watching them, standing there like that. I tried as hard as I could to see them and could barely make out their faces. They were moving slightly, but not walking towards us or anything. They were shuddering or twitching like a squirrel's tail. I heard my wife say my name nervously, but I didn't answer her. I would have, but I couldn't muster up the willpower. I probably should have, because then a voice, I think my daughter, said, "Mommy, please help us." And she started running towards the tree line, catching up to me, and then passing me by. I felt a pang of something in my heart, something like when you're about to throw up. I shouted at her to wait. Finally finding my voice again, I moved, running up to catch her. She then stopped too, about halfway to the tree line from where I did before. I grabbed her shoulder and looked at her face, and her face was like all the blood had drained out from it. She was staring at our kids. So I looked back at them as well. Then I knew why she had stopped. We could finally make out our kids' faces. They didn't look like our kids at all. The skin was all pulled back, like to the back of their heads, their cheeks stretched like they were pinned to their ears, teeth exposed completely, like some sick, disfigured smile. Their eyes were dark, like they weren't there at all or something. And they were twitching, something fierce. Heads jolting slightly at different angles like a spider moving. My wife covered her mouth with both her hands, let out a scream-like sob. The distance between us and the house then felt incredibly far. Their necks looked like wrung fabric twisted up. I could see a glint of something to the side of one of them. My axe. We heard the voice again. "Mommy, we're hurt! Can you help us?" Neither of their mouths moved, or their jaws didn't open. At least their teeth were clamped down on each other hard, and the voice, this time it sounded clearer, but tight, like trying to talk with your tongue in the back of your throat, or twisted up in your mouth. She was crying now, my wife. Tears just rolled down her cheeks while she hyperventilated. Then we heard shuffling from the things in front of us. From the corner of my eye, I saw them start to move towards us, and adrenaline jolted through me like lightning. I grabbed my wife's hand and bolted back towards our house. I felt like we were running a mile. My heart was beating in my throat and my nose burned, but I could hear scampering footsteps behind us, so we kept running. My wife was just sobbing, muttering, "No, my babies," with every and any exhale. We finally made it back to the house. I flung the door near off its hinges and threw us inside, turning and slamming the door shut as fast as I could manage. I felt the door hit something hard as I shut it, but I didn't stop as I barricaded the damn thing with a chair. My wife was inconsolable. Just a sobbing mess on the floor while I grabbed a blade from the kitchen. I started closing every window and curtain I could, and when I shut the kitchen window, I saw one of their fucking faces standing right outside in the dark. Its forehead was bleeding, likely from the damn door, and its face, it was just stretched and wrinkled skin pulled taut in some places while folding over itself in others, splattered with blood. It had no eyes, just hollow black sockets, and its teeth were cracked and on full display. Its hairline was so far back on its scalp that it looked like chunks were missing. I can't say with full confidence, but if I were to guess, this thing was once my son. The bag I gave them was clenched tight in its shuddering hand, covered in blood and dirt. I had no clue where the other fucker went, but I shut the curtains and kneeled next to my wife on the floor, gripping that blade for dear life for the entire night. We couldn't hear anything. And when the sun finally came back up at dawn, I checked out every window and didn't see anything except the dirt and grass beaten down in a full circle around our entire house. I opened the door and looked all around the outside of the house. After not seeing any sign that those things were still there, I told my wife to stay inside and came here as fast as I could to ask for help. But shit, I forgot to check the tree line before I left.
Today's episode is presented by A24's highly anticipated next horror event, Backrooms. A furniture store owner vanishes after discovering a mysterious doorway in his basement that leads to an endless network of interconnected rooms. From Kane Parsons, the preeminent creator of the Backrooms YouTube series, this tense psychological horror thriller explores the suffocating dread of liminal spaces and the unknown lurking behind them. Don't miss Backrooms, only in theaters May 29th. Get tickets now.
One bit of trivia you may not know about me is how sensitive my nose is. I can smell everything. I get sick from smells. Perfume that's too strong, candles that are too strong, and I am very sensitive to strong odors, especially bad ones, and that includes my darling cat Clara's litter box. So I'll do anything I can to keep the litter smells at a 0. And since I started feeding her Smalls, her poop has been healthier, smaller, and a lot less smelly. And that's because Smalls is fresh, human-grade cat food that is made from high-quality meat, not cheap fillers. You see, meat is easy for Clara to digest, for all cats to digest, which means her little body absorbs more nutrients and healthier poops come out. In contrast, the stuff I used to feed my cat was made with grains and artificial ingredients that were hard on her little body. And her poop, her nasty poop, was proof of that. Don't tell her I said that though, okay? And Smalls isn't just good for digestion. 88% of cat parents say that after feeding their cat Smalls, their cat is softer and shinier and has more energy to play and overall just seems healthier because it's really good for cats. If you want to invest in your cat's health, Smalls is giving you 60% off your first order, plus free shipping and free treats for life when you go to smalls.com/scare. If your cat doesn't like it, Smalls will refund 100% of your order, but trust me, your cat is gonna love the taste of Smalls, and you'll love that your house no longer smells like a litter box all the time. That's 60% off plus free shipping and free treats for life when you go to smalls.com/scare. And our second story of the night is by Jay Deshane. This is The Abandoned. Arthur William Bexton's eyes stayed closed as a pair of firm but gentle hands worked their magic over his whole body. From top to bottom, the hands wandered, their fingers stimulating every muscle group, squeezing and then pulling until he felt limber and relaxed. He breathed deeply, stretching the muscles of his chest and filling his lungs with air. The odor he took in threatened to tense him back up. Somewhere close by, something was burning, The back of his throat tickled, and his eyes began to water, prompting them to flutter open. All around Bexton, birch trees stood tall, reaching their limbs into the blue sky above. Birds flitted from branch to branch. He knew this place. He would often take walks here to clear his head. It had always had a calming effect on his nerves, but what was he doing here now? He pulled himself into a sitting position and realized he had been lying on the ground. Odd, he said out loud to himself. How had he come to be lying on the ground in this particular place? Certainly it was near enough to his home that he could simply walk over anytime he wished. That was normal, but this was not. Something about this whole scene seemed very strange. A rustling in the underbrush nearby drew his attention. Bexton's heart leapt into his throat as he scrambled to his feet. As soon as he got there, a figure stepped out of the shadows. Bexton nearly vomited at the sight. Before him was what appeared to be a creature made of ash and clay. It bore no visible hair or clothing. Standing naked, gray, and crumbling before him, milky eyes peered out at him with 2 slots for nostrils immediately below them. Thin lips were little more than the border around a gaping black hole of a mouth. The creature hissed and lurched forward with a stumble. Bexton turned and ran, bounding through the forest. His feet pounded over dirt and rocks, destroying any shred of green that had dared to grow in his path. All the while, the creature kept pace behind him.
Stop!
A voice cried out behind him in a hoarse, unplaceable rasp.
You must stop!
Bexton was determined to keep going. He sucked in gulps of air, still steeped in that horrible, burning smell. It seemed to be hanging all about him, sitting on his shoulders like a persistent cloud, no matter how fast he ran. The trees began to thin, revealing a pond in the distance. The sight of the water choked with lily pads and dead leaves was welcome somehow, as if Bexton could parlay it into some tool of salvation. Before he could figure out how, however, his foot struck an immovable rock on the forest floor. He pitched forward, his legs came out from under him, his eyes closed tightly, and his arms jutted out to keep him from falling face first into the water. When he opened his eyes at last, he wished he hadn't. Staring back at him from the water was a face, a reflection. And yet the face was not his own. It was hideous. His skin was dark gray, rough, and apparently crumbling, as if he too were made entirely of ash. He brought his hands up to look at them, really seeing them for the first time since waking. They were the same lifeless color. Bexton began to shake. A scream of anguish rattled inside his chest and finally forced its way out and into thin air. It echoed through the trees as a far-off crow cawed and took flight. The pursuing footfalls galloped to a stop somewhere behind Bexton. He didn't bother to look. What horror could the creature hold for him now? He was one of them.
I tried to tell you,
the creature said. Its voice was bathed in compassion. Bexton would have thought it impossible of feeling, based on how it looked. What are we? Bexton asked softly. A quiver started up from his very core and moved outward.
We are the abandoned,
the creature said. Abandoned? Bexton leaned into the confusion. It was a better feeling than horror or despair. What do you mean?
We have been abandoned here, you and I,
said the creature. Why?
In my case,
The creature said.
I requested it. You may well have done the same.
Bexton was silent. Requested. The word played over in his mind, a memory stirred. He was taken back to a warm Sunday morning. Spoons and cups clinked together. A sweet, familiar voice chirped in his ear. Cremation is a lot cheaper, Hannah had said. And besides, you get to be scattered in your favorite places. Bexton laughed as he poured himself and his daughter fresh cups of coffee. I don't care what you do with me, he said. When I'm dead, I'm dead. Hannah sighed. I know, Dad. I just really hope you'll give this some thought so I'm not scrambling, you know? When the time comes. And he had given it thought. Cremation, to spare his family any undue cost, and a scattering along his favorite hiking trail, the very same place where he'd regained his consciousness. But those hands, those unseen fingers, what were they doing? The only explanation that came to mind chilled and sickened him. They hadn't been relaxing him or caring for him. They weren't the loving hands of a god accepting him into the afterlife for an eternal rest. No. They were putting him back together. Why? He asked softly, barely able to contain his horror.
Why? What?
The creature asked. Why have we been
Animated?
Bexton nodded.
I do not know.
The creature said. Bexton was sure he heard a hint of despair in the answer. What do we do now? He asked.
We wait.
The creature said. And then the creature was silent. A light breeze rose up as if filling the vacuum left by sound. There was a scent on it, one that cut through the smell of burning and ash. The scent was sweet, salty, delicious. Bexton could have sworn his stomach rumbled, though he had no idea how that was possible. He turned and squinted at a pair of shapes moving just beyond the trees. He could hear them now. 2 young men in lively conversation. Their backs were loaded down by packs, apparently heavy with supplies. I hope we have everything we need, said one. Relax, said the other. I'm a little concerned, to be honest, said the first. You never know what could be out here. I've heard of people just straight up disappearing in these woods. The conversation continued in muffled tones. Well, Bexton prompted the creature once more for an answer to his previous question. The creature took a moment to answer. Even without looking at it, Bexton could feel its mood change. His own followed suit. At last, the creature spoke.
We feast.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to both of my authors tonight. I truly enjoyed both of these stories and was so happy that they fit so well together, or at least I think they did. I find the woods a very scary place, and I hope you did as well this evening. If you'd like more of this show, you can join the Patreon page, patreon.com/scareyoutosleep, for some bonus episodes or ad-free episodes if you're interested in less interruptions for your Scare You to Sleep episodes. And again, bonus episodes. If you have a story you'd like featured or considered to be featured on the show, there are no guarantees, but you can send it to scareyoutosleep@gmail.com. In the subject line, please make it clear whether it's a fictional submission or a non-fiction submission, or you can say true story for my true story episodes. I accept both. But please make it clear in the subject line so that it can be categorized correctly and doesn't get buried within my inbox. You can also follow the show on social media. There is an Instagram page at Scare You to Sleep. I have a personal Instagram page you can follow as well at Shelby B. Novak. And there's a Facebook group. There's a couple Facebook groups. I've had an influx of new Facebook group joiners, so welcome. Thank you. And if you'd like to join, it's Scare You to Sleep on the Facebook group. Just please answer the questions. And there's also Scare You to Eat, which is the spin-off group where everyone talks about food and the things they've cooked and baked, and it's a good time. You can also find me on 2 other shows every week, and that is the Bloody Disgusting podcast every Wednesday. You can find that on the official Bloody Disgusting YouTube channel. It's also available as audio wherever you get your podcasts. And you can find me on the Lady Killers podcast, and that is out every Thursday, maybe? I'm newer to that one, and I have nothing to do with releasing the episode, so I forgot about the schedule. But that one is also weekly. It's so much fun. It feels like a book club, but for movies, and we talk about lady killers in movies. We just recorded one that I don't think will be out for a couple weeks, but we did one for Deep Blue Sea. Man, I love that movie. I love that movie so much. So that one is available wherever you get your podcast. It's also available on YouTube. We just started a YouTube channel, so look for the Lady Killers podcast. And I believe that is all. This weekend I will be at Monsterpalooza in Burbank. It's not in Burbank. It's in Pasadena. Son of Monsterpalooza's in Burbank. Sorry, I get them mixed up sometimes. But I will be at Monsterpalooza in Pasadena this weekend, helping my friends at the Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings booth. So you can find me there. I will have some Scare You to Sleep stickers there. I don't have any panels. Again, I'm just helping out some friends because I love to help and I love to be amongst the crowds. So I don't have any panels, but feel free to stop by. Again, it's the Antiquarium of Sinister Happenings booth. So come say hi, grab a sticker, chat for a while. They have merch that's going to be on sale. I actually gotta go pick up their merch soon. So yeah, I am so excited to hang out at Monsterpalooza this weekend. And I think that's all of my news for now. There's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on in the background. I've always got something a cooking. I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket. So my eggs are just chaotically strewn throughout the yard. Every day of my life is like Easter Sunday. Not the crucifixion part, but the eggs part. They're just everywhere. For Baking Corner this week, I did a little bit of a cheat bake, if you will. One of my favorite, like if I want something I bake, but I don't feel like putting in the effort. For one, I've never found a brownie recipe that I like more than a box mix. I'm sorry. It's just the way my life has been. So what I do sometimes is I go get the Ghirardelli. Is it Ghirardelli or Godiva? It's Ghirardelli, right? The box brownie mix it's the turtle one where it has walnuts and caramel. But I don't just do it like the box. I make the base brownie mix, but then I take a brick of cream cheese, 1 egg, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and I measure my vanilla with my heart, but I do put in some vanilla. Blend that together, or mix it together until it's smooth. And then I dollop that on top, and I swirl it into the brownie mixture. And then I use the caramel packet that comes in the box, and I swirl that on top as well. And then you have some pretty easy, half homemade cheesecake turtle brownies. Or you can, if a lot of people don't like nuts, get the one without the nuts that just has the caramel on top. I think they make that as well. But I made some of those this week. I also built a new shelf or cabinet thingy you'll see behind me and new videos. Yeah, it's been a very busy week. Last weekend I told you I was out of town. I got to see my brother and sister-in-law and my whole family. Very excited about that. I posted a couple pictures. I didn't take a lot of pictures, but I posted a couple pictures on my Instagram of my mom's retirement party. If you want to go be nosy, which I get. I am the nosiest person ever, so I understand. And I think that's all. I think I'm done yapping at you. And yeah, I'll go have a wonderful weekend. Go get some sleep. Sweet dreams.
Imagine a city unlike any other, simmering 300 years in a raucous gumbo of debauchery versus devotion. Catholicism.
Confession is anonymous versus voodoo.
I think I done made a deal with the devil.
What you call life.
And what I call death.
It's a mysterious crossroads where the denizens of this world
and others.
He is a trickster, and I'm sure whatever he brought back from the world of the dead was a one-way trip.
Collide daily. And for Detective Frank Dupree,
I will see you in hell.
And Nikki Goodluck,
this will be a dark ride. Welcome to New Orleans, babies.
Listen to Something Wicked on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you enjoy listening.